Welcome back. It's Sam the Electrician here, talking about Western independence and Alberta separation. Thanks for joining me again. Today I wanted to talk about something I heard just before the weekend. I heard that Wexit on its Facebook page had a posting that said Wexit had declined the opportunity to have a meeting, merger meeting they called it, with the Alberta Independence Party and the Freedom Conservative Party, which I thought was unfortunate. The Freedom Conservative Party, for those of you who don't know, is run, I believe, by Derek Fildebrandt. I'm sure anyone in Alberta recognizes his name. He used to run or was a big part of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation of Alberta, and he then moved over to provincial politics with the Wild Rose Party, I believe. And now I believe he's taken the helm of the Freedom Conservative Party, which is an autonomy movement. They still want to be within a united Canada, but they want Alberta to basically have all of the privileges that Quebec gets, which I looked on their website. I thought that was a little bit immature, well, if Quebec gets it, why can't we, kind of thing. Well, that's what Ottawa wants, right? Ottawa wants the 10 siblings fighting over the last pork chop on the table, kind of thing, where, as an independent guy, I don't want to have anything to do with those family dynamics, and just be the prodigal son and get out and make our own way in the world. And I know a lot of people agree with me. However, the movement has a lot of like-minded people, libertarian, right-wing, autonomous kind of people. So they wouldn't be too hard to convince, in a referendum that if this is the way the wind is blowing, and setting up our new republic is the way we're going to do it, then I'm sure they'll jump on board. Then there's the Alberta Independence Party, which is the only registered provincial party in Alberta right now of the three. So I don't see why we're not taking advantage of that. And, Wexit's out collecting signatures. I saw a thing about they'll come to your house if you can't get out to a spot to sign it. They want to put them in storefronts and have private business owners, sort of have the forms out that people can sign, and then send them in periodically to the movement. I have a couple of sheets, and I'm signing people up as I go, people who are like-minded, and I'll be sending mine in the new year and doing my little part, because Wexit is the biggest movement, so I'm definitely on board with. It doesn't hurt to even have two provincial parties. They can slug it out. But eventually they're going to merge. They're going to have to, because if we split the independence vote, and then there's the federalists, so that's two sides of the story, and then you've got the leftist big government collectivists with the NDP and the enviro-radicalists on the other side of the triangle, the third point, and then we'll split the vote, and the NDP are always united, so they'll come up the middle again like they did 2 elections ago. And anyone fooling themselves into thinking that that's not the reason they came up the middle, you're fooling yourself. The only reason the NDP won, as I've said in another video, was because Wild Rose and the Conservative Party split the right-wing vote, and you won by exactly what your support is in this province, which is under 40%. It's 37% or something. So that could easily happen again if the independence movement is fighting the federalists and each other. The only way we're going to move forward is with unity. So I think that the Wexit leadership, maybe they felt it just wasn't the right time to go in on especially a talk named a merger talk. Like, maybe just talking would be a good way to start. Maybe we don't have to put labels on it and say it's a merger talk. Maybe it could just be talking and see where the common ground is, where the big disagreements are, and then we can hammer that out in open discussions and move forward together, which is the only way we're going to get this done. I also wanted to remark that somebody had mentioned, I don't want to name names, so forgive me. You know who you are. I don't want to draw unnecessary attention to people who don't necessarily want to be singled out. But one of my commenters said that the Alberta Independence Party is a UN sort of geared organization, and they want to join the UN. I was on their website. I didn't see anything about wanting to join the UN. The only thing I could possibly think that any independence movement would want to join the UN for or use the UN would be the UN rule that countries are not allowed to be landlocked by other countries when it comes to natural resources. So if the plan is to use the UN to scold old Canada to making them open up a route to the tidewater for our pipelines, which they never wanted and would never allow if we were a unified country, I think would be deliciously ironic, and I would be on board with joining the UN to make that happen. It would just be awesome, running to the UN like the teacher in the schoolyard. Oh, Canada won't let us bring our resources to tidewater. The UN strolls over as the teacher and scolds Canada and says, you have to give these people their basic human rights to a living and an economy. So you've got to let a pipeline go through. You have to give them an energy corridor. That'd be great. Anyway, so that's just my thoughts on that. I think that, united we stand, divided we fall is a very apt phrase right now, and it needs to be remembered by everybody. We do have a limited amount of time until the next provincial election. We have to get our ducks in a row. We have to unite. And we have to look at it like if you buy plane tickets to go on a vacation, you're much more likely to go on the vacation. Or if you just save up a bunch of money, there's always a reason why you shouldn't go and what you can use the money for. But if you have those plane tickets booked, it's kind of like that deadline that you're going to go. So we've got to book our airline tickets to independence and get on board and fly to freedom together, united as an independent West. So that's my thoughts for today. Join me again tomorrow. Make another video. Take it easy.